Hello, now we're really back. Sorry about that, friends. Zoom was not behaving, or I clicked the wrong thing, rather. Uh, we're back. Last time we just learned some secrets of the Halimo and some memory messiness. I do want to retcon one thing, if it's okay. I was sort of being jumping to first ideas and sort of being lazy. I think my dad is in some big horrible machine and he is dying. I think I will remove the element of like it's a torture machine that my mother has put him in. That could be the case. I just don't necessarily want to. Like, I have all these mommy issues, and I don't know that I want to make them so catastrophically bad that they can never be forgiven. So let's say he's in a big evil box. Maybe that box is keeping him alive. Maybe that box is torturing him. I don't know. We just know that like I wasn't able to free him or heal him or save him, and that was last time I saw him. So the memory is still the
Oh,
same, but the cause of it, I'm gonna like blur, go to like the Photoshop blur tool and just like say like let's not determine
Are
that
you
cause
saying your
just yet.
parents
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
explain everything to you?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
yeah.
Uh,
I like that. I just
because
realized it's the most awful Schrodinger's cat box, like the
Oh,
yes.
worst version possible. Like, is he alive? Is he dead?
Well, and even like I could think my mother was doing this to him, and maybe what she's doing to him is to keep him alive rather than like I don't like it's fine to not know, but I just want to leave a
I
little
like that.
ambiguity there.
Very cool,
Just
very cool. For some
just
reason, I'm thinking of that. I know it was like not a great movie. Like house that was made out of glass to trap ghosts. Like that's the I'm
oh
sort of
wow, I
seeing.
do not, but that sounds
Oh,
super
oh
cool.
God, what was it? Was it called 13 Ghosts? No, that wasn't called
Yeah,
13 Ghosts.
yeah,
Oh,
I think
was it?
so. I think so. I think so. Because the whole point was to get the 13th ghost, right? Um, but yeah, it just was this crazy, huge house that's entirely made out of glass. And each section is meant to trap stuff. So we could just say your dad is this huge like glass box where bits of him are like in different places.
I love it.
was your
Yeah, yeah.
dad the ghost all along?
My dad. We will find out. We'll leave that emotional
Mm-hmm.
landscape to be
Jen says as the mug that says fears the mind killer is striking. So good.
So
Was he
apropos.
the ghost all along?
that's
So
so
good, so good.
good.
I aim to have that kind of GM energy. That's what I aim to. Jen sipping from the
Mm-hmm.
mug. But yeah, okay, very cool, very cool. So, um, I would. I'm thinking that we can move on to where Fletcher's like sharing the footage that they
Hmm.
mentioned. Um,
We're
unless there's
getting the,
something
the
I
people
was gonna
really.
say, do we does Ember like do we meet each other's eyes after you stand up and we just like experience this not great memory? Um,
yeah. I
do
think
you wanna react to that, or do we just both pretend that nothing weird happened, and then maybe we'll talk about me absorbing your powers later?
yeah. I kind of like that. I mean, maybe we're about to say something when Celine comes in. Does the
Mhm.
if Morgan, if that's okay with you, for me to have Celine sort of interrupt before we would say it, just so
Perfect.
that we
I'm
can.
great at interrupting.
Great. Also, yeah, I think there's this like tense moment of staring into longingly into each other's eyes, and that there's this shared pain and something, and maybe it's anger, maybe it's sorrow, maybe it's both, and then yeah, it's broken
I think
before Ember
Celine
can speak.
lands right in between you two,
Nice.
and
Nice, nice.
that's what breaks off the connection.
I love it.
Can we say it's this really awesome moment where you move through the glass and the metal like it was nothing and then just landed
Mm-hmm.
right there? Perfect, perfect. I love that so much. It's so good. And then so when you interrupt, it's like the spell was broken, and Fletcher looks at the three of you, and you just see he really quickly pulls himself together, and they say, "Well, since all three of you are here, and um, you notice, Ember, that when Fletcher looks at you, there's no. I'm gonna say this is not the first time you overreacted, right? And usually people have some like leftover like I don't trust you or
Mhm.
but he seems perfectly fine with you. Like he's used to people acting out, like he's used to all these teens running around with all these
Mm-hmm.
harpoons
All this teenage energy, all of
in this
these,
high
all of
pressure
these,
situation.
the Halimo that are sometimes out of control. Yeah, that tracks. I get it.
He's had to learn how to just stay calm in the storm. And like he's not holding anything against you,
Yeah.
definitely. And so he turns and he says, the best form of evidence that we have of whatever is going on, all that we really have to go on is this footage. But briefly, let me talk about Luna. And so there's this, her picture comes up on the screen, and he says Luna Nakahara is the pilot of Hydra Omicron. And as they describe it, you see Luna, she really looks young. She is one of the youngest teens to ever be recruited as a pilot. And you see Hydra Omicron is this, looks way different than the other ones. Their skin is entirely covered in these huge eyes, and there are a dozen wings of gold, and they have this like nimbus of like fire. It's very Ember Mom like around their body, and you can see like there's footage of them attacking another Rift monster, and they unleash these huge sound waves and light storms. And together, when Luna and Hydra Omicron like connect, like you can see there's a moment where the Halima slams their hands together, the wings stretch out, there's this huge sword that forms made out of the lightning and the sound that they use. It looks an awful lot like your mother's sword, Ember. Like there's one that she used to call upon that she hasn't for a long time.
Oh dang.
And so as you
Add
see
that
that
to the
footage,
list of the next thing to talk about with
Yeah,
Mom.
exactly. Like there's a little, like Ember has like a little twitch, and then somebody, maybe it's just the camera, just notices that like there's just like a little like twitch of Ember's head, and then when the camera like has another like cut to another take, there's this giant long blade in her hand. Like it did, like it's just there all of a sudden. Like she has this like, like this claymore that she's just sort of holding in her hand, not at anybody, but just sort of it like appears. Yeah.
I love the idea of swords manifesting as your emotions. It's
Yes, exactly.
very, very cool.
No emotions, only sharp objects.
Exactly. And so it switches back to you can see that this camera angle, it's in the cockpit as Luna is preparing to go out into the field. And it's that kind of thing where it's like in the cockpit, it's distorted by that fisheye lens. So you can see their face a little larger than the rest of their body. And you can see Luna is just very calmly, almost cheerfully going through the proper startup sequence. You can hear her murmuring to Hydra, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And you can see like it's very, compared to the other pilots, Luna has a very like relaxed energy. But then all of a sudden there's like a twitch of the camera, like the footage flickers for a moment, and it suddenly cuts to Luna grabbing onto her head, and then it cuts again, and then her head is moving back and forth so fast, like the hair is blurring, starting to cover her face, and it cuts again, and she's right up to the camera, like her eye is right there, and she whispers very softly to the camera, the apocalypse comes and we must break the world for her coming, the queen of monsters. And then it cuts, and all of a sudden the camera, like everything just goes completely black, and it says there, signal lost, pilot lost, Halima lost, searching, and then it cuts. And then Fletcher turns to look at the three of you, and they say, this is all we have. 1 second, Luna and Hydra Omicron were in the hangar preparing for a Rift invasion, and the next moment they were just gone. But what if what you're saying is true and memories are being manipulated? That would explain how they suddenly disappeared. It would make more sense than having a monster as large as a building just up and disappearing. And they turn to look at the three of you. I'm not happy with the idea of me and and this entire outpost having our memories altered. I can't even imagine who or what could pull that off, but that does sound like a strong lead.
Do you have records of who was working here when you were a pilot?
And he nods and says, yes, there are a few of us from when I was young. He smiles a little apologetically. The turnover rate is it's a high stress job, he says. We make sure everyone retires when they want to. But I can get that list together for you, of course.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like we are probably going to have more success naming this person from records rather than from somebody's memory. Because I suspect that the person has very deliberately and carefully sifted through the memories of all the people. But a place like this is likely to just have, you know, terabytes of data's worth of records. So
yeah, and Ember is a bit, I think, of a Luddite. Maybe not because like technology is inherently scary, but just like the technology of her home is very different than the technology of Earth. And so she points at the screens, and I think like when she points at one, just like a dagger flies out of her hand and flies into the screen, just like out of like emphasis, it like wedges into the wall, and she's like, don't your gods of light and fiber optics have records of these things? Can't you tell from all of these abominations that you fill your world with, everything that has passed?
Pull the knife out of the wall and hand it back to Ember.
Oh. For what it's worth, in my imagination, there's like this giant armory in Ember's world, and there's like people like work on it, like polishing blades, like preparing them, and then they just like disappear all the time because Ember sucks them through a dimensional rift, and like she's not willing them into existence. They're literal like swords that were in a place somewhere. And there's like a soldier who reaches for his knife and it's gone because Ember's just like pulled it. It's her birthright. She just has all of the armory of the.
There's this one person in charge, long-suffering Zai. I see that the princess is going through a lot today.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make some more swords, you know.
Quickly, the blacksmith. Get to work. So, there's a tantrum on the horizon. But yeah, perfect. Yeah, so to that outburst, Fletcher just turns to you very calmly, he walks up to you and they place a hand on your shoulder. I assure you, Agent Ember, we can get the information that you need. It will take some time. I do have the highest security access here, but a lot of this information is encrypted for our own safety, but I will make sure. And then he sort of like pauses, like, should I use the word encrypted? Because a lot of this information is protected, he switches to, for our own safety. I will make sure that you will get it shortly. In the meantime, you may also wish to talk to the pilots. Civ is right in that their memories will not be reliable, but I don't want to give whoever or whatever is behind this too much credit. There might be something that they missed. Tampering with memories, I don't think it should be an easy thing. But I will leave it up to your discretion. There are several people you can talk to aside from the pilots. You may also talk to the command team if you think it'll help. And at that moment, that's when you see someone walk through the door and they say, oh, can IBF help? And you see this person with really large glasses, this messy hair that's tied up in a bun. They have a lab coat that's thrown over. They have these goggles also, aside from their glasses, that are pushed up into their thick curly hair. And they smile at you, and Fletcher for a moment like says, oh, which one are you? And they say, okay, I already told you that Rosario 00 is on a short vacation. They had a little bit of burnout, they say. So it's me. I'm at your service. I'm Rosario03. But, you know, if some of you need to have a talking to in order to get some life advice, like you can tell, like there's judging the three of you, like you look like you need help of some kind. You can talk to Rosario16. They give great life advice, and, you know, their shift ends in an hour. And so Fletcher turns to the three of you. I apologize. I should explain first. This is our head scientist. Well, they all are. And Fletcher smiles and says, like me, they used to be a pilot. In fact, Rosario is one of the first pilots of Island Zero, but their mutation causes them to randomly generate a new mirror clone. We haven't been able to figure out how or when it happens. And the other one, the Rosario that's there, but it hasn't happened in a few years. I think that's a pretty good record. But yeah, usually when it happens, they just walk out of the rift, you know, all the memories intact. Sometimes future memories that haven't happened yet. It's all very, I'm sure you understand. And in fact, like Rosario looks a little closely at Celine, like, I'm sure you understand. Like there's like you could realize they're thinking, your face looks very, very familiar.
There's a kinship there.
Yeah.
You have a small resemblance, just one of those faces, you know.
And Rosario says, I'd be happy to assist any way you like if you want to talk to someone. I'm your person. I'm particularly close to, you know, the Halimau. I am the #1 researcher out of all the Rosarios, they say. So I'm quite proud of that. My life advice is not as good as 06, but in fact, you don't want to come to me for advice. But if it's about the Halimau, that's what I'm there for.
What is she thinking or feeling?
So as you tune into Rosario, you can tell that they're like naturally calm. You're used to people being like, ooh, monsters, ooh, the division. There's this kind of like, but this Rosario, there is a sense of, the only way I can put it is like cheerful nihilism, right? Like they know that they're a clone. They don't know how long they have. They're not sure if they're supposed to exist. Like they could like suddenly cease to exist at any moment because they're just a mutation. So they decided to be happy because they, you know, they can't control anything else. So there's just this sense of cheerful nihilism that's there all the time. Like even about Luna and stuff, they're like, it'll work out. You know, they sent in the division. It'll be fine. I mean, it's terrible and I'm going to help Luna any way I can, but it'll be fine. Would you like to try to probe deeper to get something else? Or
I don't think so. Sean, what were you going to say?
I was just wondering, Ember wouldn't have this thought, but I'm wondering, I wanted to pose it to Morgan. Does you knowing that you were cloned make you think, does that trigger anything for Celine, the fact that Rosario is apparently mutation is natural cloning? I'm just wondering if that like makes Celine...
Yeah, the cloning thing's a little coincidental, a little too on the nose, and like Celine's just very suspicious whenever Rosario states that she's a clone, and I think she's like, so you're the problem. So I think her eyes narrow at Rosario and is just watching like a hawk. Because she hasn't had a chance to tell her companions yet about the clones, but like, so she's very suspicious and, you know, is waiting for the moment to talk to them, but doesn't want to say anything out in the open as of yet.
Well, Ember will start making moves at least in this direction, but not necessarily for the right reasons. She looks at Fletcher and says, "You said we should speak with your command staff. Then clearly we should interrogate all of the Rosarios and find out what they know." I offer up to speak with and Jimmy, I think you said 16 the first time and 06 the second time. Which is the Rosario that's good with life advice? 006.
I'm sorry, 06, not 006. Yeah, okay. In fact, Fletcher will tell you there's a total of 24 clones.
All right, I offer to start with interrogating Rosario 06. I'm sure that they can give us plenty of information about what must have transpired.
When you say
so I'm saying interrogating, but it's like I want to go for life advice because I've been told that's a good.
when you do that, you can see Rosaria like has a knowing look on their face, like, ah, yes. You have a feeling several pilots have said similar things, like, oh, I need to talk to them about something serious. Uh, but yeah, and so Rosaria says, of course, agent, and you see they have a little clipboard, and they were Ember, right? Oh, hair, fire, Ember. I get it. That's really. I should get a name. I should get a new name. Why do we all have the same name? Something to think about. Anyway, why don't you follow me? I will lead the way. The other two, you're okay. I'll take this one. And
I think hold on one second. I think now someone else is being dramatic for once. I think Celine's gonna grab Ember by the wrist
Yeah.
and kind of pull her close so she whispers in her ear. She's like,
Do it. Are we gonna kiss? Oh
No!
It's a different kind of phone call. Sorry. Sorry. Just didn't know.
I think it actually is almost for a second, like, gotta go. And but instead, like, she pulls her head to the side and like whispers in her ear. And she's like, there's clones of me down below. See what you can find out.
and Rosario stops.
That's whispered in the ear. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
looks at you. But they nod. They squeeze your hand back.
Oh
and
no,
they
it was
say-
to Ember,
Oh,
not to Rosario.
got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah.
Ember
Yeah,
says,
so-
I will not fail you. And she looks like so purposeful. It's great.
Thank you for giving me this duty.
Yes, exactly. It is exactly that. It is exactly that. Like, I am idle hands and I hate being idle and I don't know what to do. And I was going to go ask why my friend threw me across the room and I don't understand it. And I feel unloved and abandoned. And I should take darkness tokens for that, by the way, because that's my trigger, is feeling unloved and abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a purpose. Now I have a thing to actually do rather than just like talk to Rosario.
Rather than feel your feelings.
Yes, rather than feel like Jamie, what happens when you go to above 5 darkness tokens again?
Ooh, we have to corrupt your soul. See what happens.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I've done
Yeah,
it
it's
before. It's
fine.
okay.
So, because I was
So
at
when that
4,
happens,
and
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking 2 more because of feeling
Mhm.
unloved by.
oh yeah, makes sense.
by a
Well,
certain Sev.
if you want to metagame it a little bit, you are going to have to roll at a +3 anyway. So if you want to take more, since you're going to have to spend the +3 for corrupt your soul, you can do
Okay.
that.
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you
I'll-
like though.
I'll take 4, and then that'll put me at 8. Oh no, I don't want. I'll go to 7. Yeah, sure, I can metagame that.
I just want to give people like all the tools they need
Yeah,
to be
thank
fully
you.
dark. And so when that happens, so before the corrupt show moment, like Rosario comes in close. Oh, is this a thing? Is this a secret? Should I not tell the other? I can keep a secret, unlike the other Rosarios. They say. But let's corrupt your soul.
I love that, like, we have this very intimate moment, and
then
like,
Rosario
it's,
just
filmed
pops
on
in.
purpose, and then Rosario just like pops in, and it's like, oh hey, what are we doing? Are we getting close right now?
And they're like, the Halimas never get into relationships, so I never get that part of. But not that I'm missing out on gossip. Not that I'd like to. We don't get good reception here, so I don't get to watch a lot of shows. Anyway, so
Nice.
and you see Fletcher's just like, like this is the only time Fletcher really has shown signs of like, this Rosario is a little too much. So with that, let us corrupt your soul. So this is a situational move.
There we go.
If you have 5 or more tokens of darkness in front of you, the keeper of the doors will ask you, what does the darkness demand of you in this moment? This is something that could possibly compromise your fellow monsters and your mission.
Right.
And you can look at what your darkness demands to like sort of
Yeah.
get an idea.
My
of
darkness
what
demands
capacity-
that I push away those I need most, and then I fall in love with the darkness. I think sorry, Jen, but I think I look at Ember, at Civ, and at Fletcher, and I say, clearly between you two, you'll be able to figure out what has happened. You're destined to be together. You've dreamed of one another. It's been prophesized, and you have finally been reunited. Clearly, our paths are not the same. I will still be at your side, however, Civ. So yeah, I'm rejecting. Gosh darn it! Why do I keep clicking the wrong thing in the moment of truth? I'm pushing away those that I need most. And I'm like banishing myself to go talk to Rosario 06, but like doing it in a very melodramatic way, not just like I'll go interrogate, but like yeah, being very very like on the nose as Ember always is about
Yeah, and I think as you reach this, as we go into the corrupt your soul move, you hear your mother's voice in the back of your head saying, "Remember that we can't trust anyone who's not like us. We are too powerful for most of the worlds. They cannot contain our heart, our fire. No one can stand next to us, not unless we wish to destroy them." So let's see. I feel like they're trying to push you past this like beautifully melodramatic Ember speech, like maybe do something more damaging to the friendship. But we'll see. Let's roll +3 darkness. What do you think is the worst case scenario that Ember could do in line with this emotion?
I mean, it feels like Ember pushing away Civ is like a very in the moment, like, okay, you two go do your thing, and I'll research, I'll research my own way. But like that could be, I mean, I think Ember could say something like Ember could echo her mother and say something really actually hurtful, right? Like right now she's just being pouty, but I think that it could go beyond pouty and into like something actually that would really damage her relationship with Civ, rather than just being like or that would expose her jealousy even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound cool to you, Jen? I don't know. I don't want to be prescriptive about our relationship.
No, I like it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's roll +3 darkness and see how it goes.
All right, let's roll it. Oh, hold on. I have a thought on this. So that's an 11, right? On an 11 plus, you can't hold it back.
Yeah. So choose one, but we'll work through it. You'll probably use bonds if you like, but on an 11 plus, mark 2 conditions to keep control, or mark doom twice and do something worse.
Yeah.
So but instead,
I want to keep control, and I'm going to mark the bond I just got with Civ, for her to know that my words are for her to know that my melodrama is totally hollow. Not the drama in like all my intention right now is like I feel it, but it's clearly like I feel things very strongly all the time. And
yeah, I was gonna say that's my impression of Ember, is just she feels everything immediately very strongly.
Yeah.
And I don't see you holding on to things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to spend that bond with Civ to reduce that down to and to that point, I think it's very clear to Civ that this isn't a permanent thing, but it might to others look like it is. Like it might to others look like I rolled the 11 plus, but to Fletcher at least. Cool. So I get to do the not quite as terrible outcome.
Yeah, not quite as terrible. Like 7 is still the best to keep yourself together, but 8 to 10 is not bad. Something in you stirs and awakens. Choose mark a condition or doom to keep control, or do as you said you would.
Yeah, I don't want to cut Ember off in a Civ off, and I think that's what she said. So I'm gonna mark doom to keep control. I think my mom has stronger hooks in me. I think that when Ember marks doom, it is a representation of getting closer to being like her mom. And
yeah, do we see a flash, like the slow-mo of you taking the throne and sitting on it, your hair fully aflame?
Yeah, I think when she said those things, when I heard her in my ear, we kind of cut back to her saying those same things to me when I'm standing beside her on the throne, when she's sitting in the throne and I'm next to her as a younger Ember.
Nice. I've been watching a lot of K-pop videos, so like my mind is very like dramatic, slow-mo, over the top budget. Love it. But yeah, okay, perfect. And so when that happens, Rosario, there's this like tense moment between the two of you, and because Ember, I don't think you really have a great poker face, so I'm sure like things are showing like through your hair and
Zero
stuff.
poker face.
Yeah, and Rosario's like, yeah, you really should get to interrogating 06. Yeah. They like grab you by the by the arm. You know what? Can we be friends? I feel like you're a good friend to have. You know, like you're very flashy. I like flashy. Yes.
I'm a powerful demon of fire that burns everything they touch. No one would want to be my friend. It would be poison to them.
Oh my god, I'm such a bitch too. They say I can be the worst bitch. I completely understand. Everyone's calling me a bitch behind my back, and that's fine. That's fine. I have my Halima, and now I have you, so we can be bitches together. And so they're like dragging you away. Okay, so we'll cut to the interrogation, quotation mark interrogation, in a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Now that Ember's gone, maybe some real like investigation can get done. Now that she's not doing.
I have a small question. So
Sure.
I just read the Doom thing again, and I realized I forgot to mark a condition whenever I cleared my Doom track.
Ooh, I also forgot that too because that was a new rule I put in this version. Thank you.
Yeah, I like we're on that page because we're all reading that, and I was like, oh, I was just to mark a condition. Oops.
I also forgot that. That's on me.
I think I'm gonna go with reactive.
Ooh, makes sense because you're kind of like there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. So I too finally have a condition.
Yay!
Yay!
It makes reaching for the light a better move.
Yay.
Perfect. Okay, so Ember is being pulled away by her new best friend, self-proclaimed new best friend, and so Civ and Celine, you're standing there with Fletcher. You can see that they're already pulling up the information that Civ asked for, but Fletcher turns to the two of you. Is there something else I could help you with? I feel that Agent Ember has that side down, and you can hear like on the down the corridor. So, do you watch shows? I hear like the reception's much better off Island Zero, like just going on like in the background.
Nice.
I think Celine's going to look at Civ and try to emotionally project to them that like I'm about to drop a doozy of a question, just be prepared.
I feel like you know that you can just think a sentence at me and like I can catch it, right?
Yeah.
We're not like under duress or anything here.
Yeah,
so.
I
Nice.
think you get a sense of, is it just more feelings or can you get like visual images as well, like from people?
I am sensitive to the surface thoughts and strongest feelings of those around me. But I feel like of anybody I know, I probably know you the best, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the one thought that you get from her is just the one vision of her staring back at a wall of clones that are looking at her. So that's the first thing you get as she inhales and she's
I
like,
think Civ like takes a big gulp, even though I don't have to breathe or swallow.
Love it.
and she's like, what do you know about my clones?
And Fletcher looks at you, looks at Civ. Oh, well, I explained that it was Rosario who had the clones as a result of the mutation.
No. Do you not know the priestess that looks exactly like me?
Well, I did think the resemblance was uncanny, but I thought it was the doppelganger effect.
Have you been to lower levels before?
And Fletcher Payne is, I have the highest security clearance here, and I've been to all the levels. But as you see, like he pulls up a blueprint
Mhm.
right onto behind him, and you're like, no, you know for a fact that it's much lower than uh than where he's been.
I think she's like, you obviously don't have power here, or isn't much power as you think you do.
And that's when Fletcher looks at you, looks at the map, and says, I feel like perhaps there's something that we will have to look into. So you said you have clones. Would you like me to call the high priestess here?
I doubt she'll know anything about seeing the others. Typically, they get mind wiped each time they look at each other.
And then that's when Fletcher turns to Civ. But you could walk through that, couldn't you? What are dreams, if not memories, that we weren't able to hold on to?
Yes.
And Fletcher turns back to you, Celine, and says, I'm comfortable not being in power. I have understood for a majority of my life what it is like to not have power. But I trust Civ, and Civ is powerful. I think they'll be able to help you. I will do what I can between this talk of memory manipulation and me not knowing what's going on in my own facility. I think we will have to be very, very careful. I would like to say that you can trust everyone here, but now I'm not so sure. And they sigh. We will have to do what we can, but I think for our own safety, and he turns to Civ, this pains for me to say this, but don't keep me in the loop and everything. I don't know who's watching me. I think you only
nod.
can trust each other, he says. I'll leave you to it then. There may be a place that's conducive for you, Civ, that may help in the dream walking. And he turns.
Don't tell me it's a tank of water.
And he said,
the Halima vats.
Oh, that's a really good idea. They do just dream the whole time. They do just sleep. And he looks towards the vats. He goes, there is an experiment that, yes, it could work. None of the psychics, none of the psionics could manage it, but you, Civ, yes. I'll take you to the lab. And so I think we're going to, we see the two of you following Fletcher, going deeper into the facility. We see a shot of the heart, just like beating very gently. And then we're going to cut to the interrogation that's going on. So let's see. Ember, you are there to see 06, who gives great life advice.
Yep.
And so you can see, like, you're in the living quarters. This is where a lot of the people, most of them live here on the island. So the living quarters are really spacious. They go on for several floors. And as you walk through it, Ember, what is it about the living quarters that is extremely beautiful to you, that really like calls out to you?
I think it's that the way people are connecting with each other is done in a sort of like a fraternal manner. I think it's that she sees people like playing a board game, and some people that are like, one of them is like on their they don't get good reception here. It's like one of them is like has like a sketchbook and they're drawing something, and then another one is like reading a book, but every once in a while the person who's drawing like shows the person their sketch and they smile or something like that. And two people, like a couple people, are eating together, and that is clearly not the world that Ember grew up in, that like communal enjoying each other's company kind of activity. That's what, like, all of the other like technical marvels, like whatever, don't even care. They like, Ember doesn't even notice them. It's the people being at ease and relaxing and enjoying each other's company. Ember almost
Yeah,
never
yeah.
is at ease.
I like that a lot. And you see like a group of them. You see the pilots are hanging out, the teens, and they're playing D&D, just hanging out. There's like one of them has a huge GM screen with a big dragon, except they sort of drew on it to make it look more like a Halimo instead of a
Nice.
dragon. Like they added extra eyes and monstrous appendages and stuff to it. You see, in particular, surprisingly, the GM of the pilots is the youngest one. You recognize her from the dossier, Catalina Lee. Uh, he speaks in a very soft voice. And then you come across the orcs, and then they say, "Rar, who goes there?" Like all of a sudden, she shifts into like, and everybody's like, "Ah!" Like really getting into the game. And so as you pass by, you see everyone hanging out, having a good time. Rosario says, "Oh yeah," and so we stay. Unfortunately, we take up a lot of space. I honestly thought at some point some of us would start dying off, but no, they had to just make more rooms for us. Um, yeah, but anyway, here we are. This is Rosario 1-6's room, and they place a hand on a panel. And you can see like it circles through all the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to check which clone
Oh,
is it that's
nice.
opening the door because they're all identical. And so and then the door switch shifts open, and once you get to the inside, it's all huge pillows, huge blankets. It looks very comfortable. There are some indoor plants. Some of them are not doing so well, but overall, it's pretty good. It's they've got like these really beautiful chic like terrariums going on. Like they're trying to make it as homey as possible. And the Rosario who's with you, they look around and they say, "Yeah, well, we had to argue with them to like get rid of the glass beads and stuff, but they insist on like keeping the incense. Anyway, we'll leave you here to interrogate. If you need anything, I'll be watching the D&D game." They
I
say.
think before like they take off, like Ember's sort of been just like looking around, kind of taking it all in, her gold glowing eyes, sort of absorbing all this. And she, before Rosario 03 leaves, she's like, "How is it that you are genetically identical with all of the same memories, and yet you have such different personalities?" Like when she's commenting on all these things.
Oh,
How did you reach this level of self-determination?
I'm so glad you asked. No one ever wants to hear my theory, but we're best friends, so of course you want to hear it. They
Definitely want to
say.
hear about all cloning things.
Yeah. And so they say, I actually don't think we're clones. I think we're different versions of Rosario going through probabilities. The Rosario that could have been if they had made certain choices in their life to change things. You know what I mean? Right?
Um,
Right? Like what? And then they look at you and they pointedly ask, like, what choices could you have made differently? And how would that have changed you? Right? Like they have no idea that this is a very personal question to
yeah,
ask.
exactly. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's so good. I say, I can see how that would make you very different indeed. Um, and like again, they just have like a sword that they pulled through a dimensional rift in their hand right now, and they're not using it aggressively at all. It's just like when they said like a different version of her from a different reality, just like a sword just appeared in Ember's hand on accident. Like just like, oh, yep, that's a thing. I get it. Uh, she sort of just like sets it down on a table, like, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to accidentally bring a sword into your room.
I think the table like sort of buckles a bit under the weight of the
Yeah.
sword.
I kind of also like the idea that Ember can't put them back. I don't know why. It's sort of ridiculous. I sort of like this idea that I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that or not. But I think for the most part, they do stick around. Like maybe, yeah,
Maybe because when they come back, they end up in people sometimes or in walls or.
yeah.
But yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. So when that happens, Rosario says, "Oh, was that a big question? You know, I feel like it's because I just haven't really talked to a lot of people who aren't me, you know? Well, different versions of me, different probabilities of me, right? Like I'm sure there's a version of you that's chill.
There is no version of me that is chill. In the thousands and thousands of multiverses and the many possibilities, the possible conquering horror that I might become, there is no version of Ember that is chill. And like my hair kind of flames a little bit. It's like saying that Ember is cold is like an insult to her because she's like Ember hot. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, she is definitely thinking about all the possibilities of who she could become.
And then
she says, perhaps after I speak with Rosario 016, you could take me on a tour and we could walk the area together and talk about possibilities.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, were you hitting on me? I like being hit on. That's a very good grade A flirt. Oh, it wasn't? Okay. You know what? I'm going to. And then the other Rosario 06 says, I'll take over. Why don't you go back to your Halima? You're much better talking to the monsters than you are talking to people. We've discussed this. And that's when the original, the 03 that you were talking to says, fine, we know it's because the Halima are psychic and I need psychic help, but it's fine, I'll be over there playing D&D. And then so they walk past, and so this Rosario steps forward. Instead of the goggles and the messy hair, their hair is actually cut pretty short, like the curls move around their face. And they still have it's like a thinner frame of glasses instead. They still have the lab coat. It's very clearly labeled which Rosario they are on the badge. And they say, so why don't you go ahead and take a seat? It feels like you need I've heard of you. We went over the dossier before the division agent showed up. Agent Ember, right? The interdimensional Hell Princess?
Inheritor of the Obsidian Throne, future Queen of Coal, and like Ember reads off all of these this giant long honorific that she says with much not disdain but just exhaustion. Yes, that's me, right? She has this incredibly long, ornate, ridiculous title that she recites.
And you can see this Rosario is actually doing her best to remember the entire title, nice. And really trying to hold on to it. They say, that really sounds like a lot of pressure. That sounds like you have a lot to live up to.
I want to ask her a question, but I think we should cut away to Civ and Selena before she answers it. So I say, can you imagine being on the bloody fields of Daros, fighting against your enemy and seeing the one who would imperil your most beloved, and just at the moment you are about to vanquish them, you have in your hand the one that you truly care about turns on you instead and flings you across the battlefield and sides with who you think is the enemy, but then you think maybe it's not the enemy, and you realize that you've gotten things misunderstood, and now you've sent the whole wrong message, and you don't know what you've said and what you've done. And then but I don't want the answer just yet. This is what Ember is.
I think as you're saying
version of a hypothetical.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, as you say that, Rosario does look around is this room fireproof enough for this person? Exactly. But anyway, because I imagine your hair is
It's a little flaring. By the time Ember leaves, there's going to be 6 or 7 swords in this room. Just sorry, maybe you could do something with
this. This is the emotional thermometer of Ember. How many swords are left in the room?
So some people have emotional support animals. You have emotional support swords.
Yes,
that
exactly.
Totally makes sense. But yeah, so we cut back to Civ and Celine, and Fletcher's with you. This is at the other side of the hangar. You had to walk through several corridors. In fact, you ended up having to get on, what do they call it? Instead of an escalator that goes up, it just goes along the same.
Well, it was platforms, the moving.
Yeah.
The movers.
Yeah,
the moving sidewalks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So there's like a frame for you to hold on, but it takes a while. It moves really quickly, but it still takes a while for you to get all the way to the other side because these vats are huge for our chunky boys, right? And as you are getting closer, that's when Fletcher, you can feel it, Civ, like this sense of foreboding that's coming off of them, and they say, wait, no, this isn't right. And you realize like there are these huge claw marks that have like ripped through this part of the facility. And on the other side of the vat that you were supposed to go to, you can see it shattered and the liquid is pouring out. And you can hear this deep breathing noise. And then at that exact moment, the sirens go off, announcing an intrusion. And that's where we're going to end the session. If everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing we see is like the steam and this growling sound that comes from the darkness. And I can't wait to see what that is the next time we play. I can't wait to see Civ fight. Like with the new weapon.
I gotta think about what weapon I made for you. We'll figure that out next time. Yeah.
You get to make a new one each time if you like. So
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah. Anytime you just want to mark doom, you can. I like how one person makes swords and the other one makes weapons.
I didn't need to help Ember. Ember has her own weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Ember has a whole armory. I mean, you made this move called, one of the strengths was weapons from where I was summoned, and I don't know if this is what you intended, but I was just thinking of like the way Hela just like summons swords and Thor Ragnarok, and like the idea is very appealing to me. So yeah,
very cool. Yeah, I had one player who said, "Yeah, the weapons I summon are people." So I just pull people and throw them. Anyway, that was an interesting game. So with that, let's go into our stars and wishes. What we like
XP
session
to do.
Oh, thank you. That's what I remember. I was like, I have something to do, right? End of session. Thank you so much.
Session. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So it's in situational moves. Thank you so much for the reminder, Jen. Okay, so answer the following for every yes. We mark 1 XP. So let's go in character keeper order. Let's start with Ember. The first question is, did you express your monstrous nature or your humanity?
I think I did both. I think I expressed both like all the stuff with my mom and the horrible future of taking the throne and all that responsibility and stuff, but also like being very insecure and being very afraid of losing those that I care about. I feel like yes.
Absolutely. And did you learn something significant about yourself or your impending doom?
I think I learned that I'm a little closer to it than I thought it was. I feel like getting doom this time, corrupting my soul, like made me realize my mom has sort of a stronger grip than I thought she did. I felt like I was like, no, I'm on Raumspringer. You can't control me. And I don't think that's really true at all. I don't think this like time off or this like finding myself time is really anything more than just more of her grooming. I think it's all just part, like I'm still just I felt like I had like control, and I think I don't. I think I have less control than I thought I did.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? I feel like this is a yes. Yeah,
I did. I learned that Civ could take my powers and use them against me and will. And it's kind of cool. It's a little scary. I think it's cool. Ember thinks it's scary. I think.
Very cool. I have that image of like Civ with the hair starting to like float. So good.
Also, Celine is a clone. That's was unknown, right?
Yeah, that's a huge thing to drop through a whisper. Yeah,
exactly. There are clones of me down below. Find them. Yeah. Well, it is so perfect because like a powerful, meaningful whisper up close to Ember is so like her MO. That's like Celine being on her level.
Sean, like, I just gotta say, you're like, oh, are we gonna kiss? I was like, I wasn't even thinking. I was so caught off guard. It was so good.
So good. It's so perfect. So perfect. But yeah, okay, so that definitely sounds like 3 XP. And then so Celine,
Mhm.
did you express your monstrous nature or your humanity?
I mean, I kind of calmed the heart. I kind of went into a doom track. I learned,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely. I think which also goes into the next one of did you learn something significant about yourself or your
yeah, I have clones. I don't know if I was called the Queen of Monsters or it was just
You
related.
were.
You were
Yes. No,
definitely
you
called the Queen
were.
of
Oh
Monsters.
no.
And we're waiting for the Queen of Monsters to cause the apocalypse on our own terms. That was you for
No, I
sure.
don't know.
Yes.
I did nose goes during that. I think Jim was the only one that saw it.
That's why you were doing that. I thought you meant, oh, it's me.
Nose
That's on the
goes.
I'm
nose. I didn't think you were
sorry.
doing nose goes. I love it.
It's okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that's two.
Yeah, and did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Not my people monsters.
Oh, but we also consider like you learned a lot about Electro Rogue, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
So I
also
didn't know if
counts
I
like other
considered that or not,
monsters.
but okay. So
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
3 XP.
Totally cool. Yeah, it could be any monster you come across. So
I mean, also you
um,
learned that somebody else has clones walking through the rift.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yes. Oh.
That seems significant.
Oh hey, look! I maxed out my XP.
Yahoo! Yay! Awesome, awesome. Very cool. And then, so for Civ, did you express? I think this is also true. You expressed your monstrous nature, your humanity. That was
Yes, I
very
did.
cool. Did you learn something significant about yourself or your impending
Yes,
doom?
I learned that maybe somebody put me down there on purpose and called me a failure.
What is it with these horrible parents?
And maybe took your memories too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
also. Hmm.
maybe you
Mhm.
don't remember who it was because they
Yeah.
took them.
Yeah, yeah. And then, did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
I sure did. I learned about Amber's dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
And,
Okay, yeah.
also clones of Celine, NVD, that nobody knows about.
NVD.
So good, so good. Yeah, so that's also 3 XP. And then next we have answer the following. For every no, you may choose to mark doom. So once again, this is voluntary. So we'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Civ. Did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse? Yeah, I think you did, right?
Mhm.
One of your moves, so that doesn't count. Did you completely deny what the darkness demands of you and what the darkness, ooh, to meet your crew maker?
No, I did not deny that.
Yeah,
I'm heading towards
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's a possible
Okay.
mark if you
Yep.
like. Yeah. And then, oops, my Google Sheet just gave up on me. I don't know. Okay, there it is.
And then, did you reach for the light with someone?
Oh, y'all
I
did.
yeah, I didn't roll the move technically, but I did participate in it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah. 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 It's counted if you participated.
I didn't do
Um,
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get a possible mark for that. So that's one possible mark doom
Yep.
for you. So do you take it or?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Delicious. Num num num. Okay.
I also take
And
it.
nice. Right, because it's the same thing, right? You didn't completely deny because we saw that God of Monsters, Queenness, Awesomeness. It was very good. And you didn't reach for the light. So you technically you get to mark 2 if you like.
Oh, I might as well.
Yeah, why not?
No big deal.
Yeah. It's just do. It's okay.
Also, can I tell you what move I took with my XP
Oh,
stuff?
yeah. Yes, please.
Like a moth to the flame. So when you reach for the light, you may first tell them how you can destroy them. If you do, take 3 tokens of darkness before rolling.
Mhm, mhm.
Nice.
Perfect, perfect. I love that. Yay. The pure is so intense. I love it. They're all really intense. Who am I kidding? Like when I
Yeah.
wrote each playbook, I was like, like I was crying in some of the moves. And then so, Ember, how about for you? You did uncover a key. Wait. Well, wait. Did you? I'm trying to remember.
I think I uncovered a key at the very, very end of the last session, which we said would be at the start of this session. So yes, I think the key
Yes.
I uncovered was about my mom and the
Mhm.
Electro Rogue as a Halima who refused to completely die protecting her.
Yeah, that's right.
her
Because it
pilot
happened
Fisher
at the right
plane.
at the
Ember's
end.
mother wants this power to force monsters into subjugation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
So I do think I got a key.
Mhm.
Did I completely demand what the darkness demands of you? Did I completely
Mhm.
deny what the darkness demands of you? I don't think I did that. I think I was really questioning what the darkness demands of me. My
Yeah.
mom wanted me to give up my personal relationship with Civ because she can't, contain that, and I was unsure. So I think the answer is no, I didn't completely.
Yeah.
And did I reach for light for someone? Yes, I did reach for light. So
So that's
awesome.
one possible mark. Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see how much doom do I have? Yeah, I only got 3 doom. Let's take it. Let's mark it.
Yeah, cool. Yummy doom. All right, so that's our intercession stuff, and then now we can properly go into very quick. I'm aware of the time, so just super quick stars and wishes from everybody. So yeah, let's go back in reverse character keeper order. So let's start with Jen. What are your stars and wishes?
Yeah. Oh my god, I had one and now it's well, okay, so the wish is I want to see Ember and Civ deal with the ramifications of Civ borrowing powers and throwing her fellow agent across the room. And yeah, my stars, I mean, Celine just floating down, like that was a cool as heck moment. That was really neat. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the sort of conference room scene with Fletcher getting like thrown against the window and it cracking and stuff, and like this very meaty, emotional scene. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And yeah, and then Morgan, what are your stars and wishes?
Oh, did Jen, did you do your wishes, or was that your stars?
I did a wish first, and then I did a star.
Okay,
thank you.
I just wanted to clarify before we moved on. The stars, just out of character Sean reacting like that, like it still just makes me giggle. It's just so caught off guard. But I love it so much.
It was very good.
It was.
He was just so excited about it. Are we kissing?
I mean, I should have at that point. I should have been like, "Yeah, okay." It was just thrown off. Next time.
Okay.
And I think Civ reaching out and like kind of touching their creator a bit, like, and then just Ember's just intensity during that scene of like, I don't know. Also, just describing that open-ended question of the battlefield to this Rosario
06, yeah.
06, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, best hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Oh god, it is like not even like a full question; it's like a full monologue question.
Yes, exactly.
Because usually a question is like one sentence, not like 5.
This was a question with lots of preface.
It's like a question that could be its own ballad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and just finding out about the clones. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Not even Rosario's clones, my clones. Celine's clones. Wish for sure. I definitely want to try out the weapons and see how Civ works with Doom weapons. I definitely want to see more of Ember's intensity and like, especially like we're about to be in a fight and Ember's like off doing
I love that I'm often like the complete other side of the compound, like laying in the counselor's chair, like unburdening myself of my feelings while you're gonna be in this giant fight.
Oh my gosh, are we gonna like flashback between the two?
Yes, we absolutely are. We're absolutely gonna have like swords and giant maws and like, but I don't know how to say how I feel without exposing my vulnerability.
And then there's gonna be Civ is gonna be like, give me a sword, and Ember is just like lousy with them.
Lousy, exactly.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited, y'all. Okay, I'm writing that we're gonna start with the talk fight. That's really good, super good. opening stuff. But yeah, any other wish you wanted to add, Morgan?
You know, just I think our next game's the last game, right? Like, so a good, amazing, fueled conclusion. That
Oh, is the next one our last one? I have to double check.
I'm not sure.
Is it?
Ooh.
We can schedule as needed if folks are, if we need to do more sessions and people are available.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I'm not ready to be
19.
done with this yet. I love my
Same.
disaster child.
Yeah.
Me too. Anyway, we'll see. We'll definitely.
Sounds like we'll find a way.
we'll just squeeze out more. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is now a campaign. You're welcome.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. but I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered. I'm looking at how many keys we have. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, not bad. We have 4 keys already. Out of complexity 7. That's not bad. But yeah. So with that, my own stars and wishes. This session was so good. I totally lost track of the time. Even though I'm always looking at the clock as a GM, I totally lost track of the time. I was like, oh no, I thought we could have time for a fight. It's almost time. But the emotional stuff was really, really good. I really liked how both scenes between what was going on between Ember, Fletcher, and Civ was still connected to what was going on with Celine in a way because of the heart, because of Fletcher and Electra's connection. I really love that play between what is going on back and forth. Yeah, I really liked what we found out today about the creator and the clone stuff. How can we make Celine's situation worse? Make more Celines.
Yes, love it.
I was looking at my clues like, do I want to do this? It was super fun. I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah, so I'm really glad to see such great play from everybody. I love everybody's characters. It's really, really fantastic. Like Rosario is the new best friend. Poor Ember, it feels so ridiculous. But yeah, and so for my own wish, I can't wait I think that's perfect, starting out with a fight scene that's also
Therapy session.
Therapy session. So good. It's gonna be so good. But we'll still get Ember to punch things, hopefully within the session, if not by the next one. But it'll happen. Okay, so
I'm open. Yeah.
Sean, did you do stars and wishes?
I haven't, but I'm.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
worries.
Where's my
It's okay.
brain?
We're all doing.
No. That's
I'm happy to do them in any order.
yeah. Go ahead, Sean. What are your stars and wishes?
No, I absolutely loved the way I loved Civ's response when Ember like totally went off on Fletcher. In part because last time Ember totally went off on on our handler when he was like patronizing Celine, and I was like, no, and everyone was like, oh, that's just what Ember does, and it was great to see that pushback and to see like that pushback be significant, and then for us to kind of like walk our way through like, well, what does that look like? Like, I don't think you're necessarily strong enough to do that. Oh, but I have power absorption. Oh, well, that seems like it's triggering a move. Oh, okay, that move is leading to these conditions. Like the fact that you did the thing and then it like became even cooler by sort of like stepping through the iterations and the mechanics. You're like, oh, well, obviously now you're gonna have some of Ember's powers, and you have the flames and like all that stuff. So to me, that was just it reminds me very much of the smitten move in She Sword Lesbians, of like when you're smitten with somebody, introduce a problem in your relationship, right? And so it's like, this is like, cool, now we have like a thing to work through, which I love. Morgan, when you pulled Ember in close, like, not only did I love that I was like, is it kissing time? And like that was not what you were thinking. I thought that was hilarious. It was so nice. But also like Ember never has people like act at her level. Like no one ever like matches her intensity. And that like Celine did. It was just like, yes, it was like such a payoff. Like I knew it. I knew you had it in you. I knew you had that same, like I will do this thing. So she will find these clones. She will. If she has to look through every room down here, she will. And finally, Jamie, I absolutely love Rosario 03, just like taking whatever Ember said and just like, oh yeah, you know, like totally get it. Like Ever's talking about like committing all these atrocities. He's like, yeah, I'm horrible too. I don't know. It was just that was all. That was all. Really fun for me. You good. The characters in this game are amazing. As for my wishes, I think we've kind of spelled it out. I really want to. I love the idea of this counseling session that's alongside a giant like horrible fight. I'm really excited about um, uh, Celine's Doom move and pulling out this weapon for Civ to use and see what that looks like. Um, and I love that this mystery has like all of these layers and that there's lots of unreliable narrators, and so I'm excited about finding out more of what the truth behind all that stuff is. So yeah, good stuff all around.
Super cool. Super, yeah, I can't wait till we get to um, the when we start to unlock Doom's door. It'll be great. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much everybody for playing Apocalypse Keys with me. This is super, super great. Yeah, and thank you for everybody on the stream too and hanging out with us. That's super awesome.
It's very fun. Let's do our outros. I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner. I just released a game recently called Agon, and with my co-creator John Harper. It's a beautiful, beautiful game, and I think it's lots of fun to play. And I'm happy that it's in stores now. It's fantastic. As I mentioned a moment ago, talking about Thirsty Sword Lesbians, that game just went to Kickstarter, and let's see if I still have the command in here. It is a game about queer love and adventure and action. And I mean, the name is on the tin. Like the description, the game is on the tin. Like you know what it's about by its name. So if you love that moment where Wesley and Inigo are fencing and over the cliffs of doom, and they are pressed up against each other and their blades are locked, and then they start kissing. If that's a favorite moment for you in Princess Bride, then you will love this game. So I'm very excited about it. How about you, Jen?
I am Jen. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at 10penjen. I'm also excited about Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I'm proofreading it for Evil Hat, and I'm getting to read it, and it's just a fun read. And I'm going to repeat my very favorite line of this whole book, because it might be my favorite line of any game book ever, is the AI ship questioning the gender it was assigned at birth, the ERTH. It's amazing. So, yes. Great. It's perfect. I'm very excited about this game. Morgan, what about you?
I that's amazing here. Hey, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. You can find me on all the socials at Serena Bezos. I have Kahania this Wednesday. We didn't do it last Wednesday, but we're going to do it this Wednesday. So come watch us play Quest, where they're disaster children, on Wednesday at a time. I forgot what time it is, but follow me. You'll see it. It's good. I'm here. I do podcast stuff. I do other life. Just follow me. There's
Click the links.
do things. Follow me. Be my friend. Hello, Jammy. Jammy. Hello. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, my beloved Queen of Monsters. So I'm Jamie. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm very happy. You can also find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup. I use a lot of Sailor Moon gifs. I'm also very excited for Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I was super lucky enough to write a cyberpunk setting for it. To make even more, gay robots. We need to make more gay robots in general. In fact, I'll be running Thirsty Sword Lesbians, the Neon City 2099 setting, as part of the Roll20 Con. So that's happening on Friday, October 23. I have to double check the time because it reverted to my normal time in Manila.
8 a.m. Pacific. Very early. The first slot of the con.
Yeah. So come hang out with us. We're gonna flirt. There's gonna be neon swords. We're gonna be in light cycles. It'll be raining, very dramatic, good stuff. So it'd be great to see you there. And yeah, and then I'll see you on Twitter too.
Nice, awesome. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. I put all sorts of links in the I didn't do it this time, but all sorts of links in chat if you want to follow any of these rad folks. There's links to do all of that. We'll be back in 2 weeks with lots more games, more Apocalypse Keys, Burning Wheel, and Rebel Crown, and I think maybe another game from Jay. He's starting to stream with us too, starting next week or week after. So excited about all that. For now, have a nice night.
Bye.